Hi, thanks for checking out today's video. We are on day 10 of 2 weeks of yoga. For our pose today, you will need 2 foam yoga blocks if you have them. You're welcome to use a strap if you have one that's long enough. I do not have one that's long enough to demonstrate, but if you've done the pose before and you feel comfortable using the strap, you're welcome to do so. So go ahead and round up your items and we'll meet back on the mat to get started. The pose for today is Navasana, or boat pose. There are several different modifications or variations for this pose. I'm just going to show you a couple of them today. You can see from the picture, one of them is keeping one leg on the ground. Another option would be to have a slight bend to the knees. You'll really just have to see where you're at in the practice of this pose. It requires a lot of core strength. Some benefits of this pose are definitely strengthening the core. Modified versions can be helpful for low back pain, can assist in digestion, and can help develop mental concentration and clarity. Some contraindications of this pose would be those with back pain. You should be sure that you're modifying the pose. And those with a hernia or abdominal pain should refrain from doing the full boat pose. This pose provides a stretch for the hips and the hamstrings, the hip flexors, and it's overall a good stabilizing pose. So we'll get on our mats and start our practice. Begin seated on your mat with the knees bent and the feet on the floor. Clasp the shins just below the knees and draw the torso upright towards the bent knees. Engaging the core, I'm going to bring the head in alignment with the spine. I'm going to place the hands under the knees. And then lift one leg up into the air, keeping the toes spread wide, pressing the feet away from you. And then match it with the other leg. Resting the arms out in front of you, creating this V shape with your body. And breathing into the pose. Return to that seated position on your mat. We'll go through a couple variations of this pose, so have your blocks nearby. Before we do that, we're going to just warm up the hips a little bit. So go ahead and grab the right leg, pull it in towards you, and begin to rock back and forth gently. You can move the head from side to side, getting some movement in the neck, and then extending that leg and bringing the opposite foot in towards you, rocking at the hip. So just rocking and swaying, getting some stretching, taking whatever movement feels best for you, and sending that leg back out. And first we'll go through alternating the legs, so keeping one leg bent and on the floor for stability and raising the other. Have a breath or two, and then changing the legs, and having a breath or two. If you don't have your blocks, you can go through another round alternating the legs just to help build strength and stability. If you do have the blocks, go ahead and grab a block and place it in the space of the left and the right thigh, extending the legs out and the arms, spreading those toes wide, pressing the feet away from you. Another option for this pose is to hold a block in the hands and do that same thing as you extend the legs. You're reaching the block in your hands towards your feet. And I have one more variation for you. So here you will need to head over to an open space on the wall nearby. You're going to have a seat on your mat and once again ground down, removing the fleshy parts. With the spine nice and tall, you're going to extend the feet onto the wall 1 foot at a time. You can take the arms out at the sides and help hold that stability in the pose. Here you can alternate removing 1 foot at a time from the wall, just to help build that strength. Typically a good measure for space is if you're seated on your mat, you're pressing your toes along the edge of the wall. That usually means you are a good distance away. So you can go ahead and release the pose. Thanks again for joining me for today's pose. Check back tomorrow for a new video. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.